I've recently covered some movies where I've made the claim that they've been some of the worst I've ever seen. And I assure you that when I say a movie is one of the worst that I've ever seen, I mean it. Well, get ready to add another to that list. This movie is so bad that even though it's only 92 minutes long, it felt like it was 4 hours. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about a movie from 1962 that tells the story of a caveman living in the 60s. And no, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's worse. So much worse. Eegah was produced and directed by Arch Hall Sr., who made a bunch of B movies in the 1960s. He's also in this movie, along with his son, Arch Hall Jr., who he wanted to create a screen persona for that was similar to Elvis, which is why there's a few moments in this movie where Jr. gets to showcase his musical talents. But it's all very awkward, and you will see more of that later in this video. This movie also stars the late great Richard Kiel in one of his first feature film roles. The opening credit sequence is very bizarre, and the music actually gives off some Napoleon Dynamite vibes. The movie starts late at night with Roxy leaving a clothing store and paying a visit to her boyfriend Tom at the gas station.
I just bought myself a new swimming suit tonight.
Oh?
Yes. See?
That?
So he says he'll follow her up to the club, where I guess they're going to go swimming, but on her way up there, a caveman walks out in front of her car. See, now Roxy's response here is perfect, because this could all be part of some kind of insurance scam. You know, people walk out in front of your car and then they act hurt, so what you do is, you act like they hurt you. You know, the old Uno reverse card. And then threaten to sue them. The caveman is named Eegah, and he's the cleanest looking caveman you'll ever see. Pretty well groomed if you ask me. I mean, is his hair as nice as Tom's? Maybe not, but Tom looks like he needs 2 hours and an army of combs to style that every morning, and who has time for that? Not me. That's time that I need to spend catastrophizing about the day and working myself up into a ball of anxiety before I even step out the door. It's the cornerstone of my morning routine. I can't change that now. Because if I do, something terrible might happen. Anyways, Eegah is about to start bashing the car when suddenly he gets caught in the headlights of Tom's car, so he runs away.
Oh, is he gone?
Who?
Is he?
I don't see anybody.
Well, there you go, Roxy. Everything is fine. There's no giant. You're just crazy. Don't you think that if there was a giant standing right beside your car that got caught in Tom's headlights, that Tom would have seen him? Otherwise, that would mean that Tom is a brain-dead moron. Is that what you're trying to say, Roxy? That Tom is a brain-dead moron? That's pretty mean. I thought he was your boyfriend. I think he deserves better than that. So they go to the country club where Roxy tells her father and, I don't know, some guy, I guess, about the caveman. And he's like, a prehistoric monster? That's a little hard to believe. Besides, they wouldn't let him join the club anyways, so why should I give a shit? But her father is like, I believe you, Roxy, because the Bible talks about giants, and that's good enough for me. Tom suggests that they grab their flashlights and go out looking for him, but Roxy's dad, Robert, is like, don't be ridiculous, Tom. It's too dark out right now. We'll go looking in the morning. Everybody knows that's the best time to look for giants. Dumbass. So they go out to the approximate location where Roxy saw the giant. And I mean, wow, not a lot of landmarks around here. So she could have seen him just about anywhere. But suddenly, Tom finds a footprint in the sand. And there you go. Indisputable proof right there. Just look at it. I mean, yeah, it's really hard to see, and there's only one footprint, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. We want an adventure, and logic and reason has no place when it comes to adventure. So the giant's footprint means that he lives in those mountains over there, because, of course. So all we have to do is search all of that. Shouldn't take very long.
He left the road right here. Watch out for snakes.
Ooh!
Now, that is one of many lines that were clearly added in post-production.
Watch out for snakes.
And you might think that it's foreshadowing a run-in with a snake at some point in the movie. But no. Not at all. Nothing ever happens with the snake at any point in this movie. There's shots of snakes, but again, nothing happens. So why was the line added in? No idea. Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm going up on Shadow Mountain with a camera.
Are you gonna write a book about the giant, Mr. Miller?
That's the idea, Tom.
Can we just pump the brakes a little bit here? You found one footprint, which probably isn't actually a footprint, and from that you've concluded that a giant lives up in those mountains and you're gonna go up there to take pictures and write a book? So Robert decides to take a helicopter up there, and I guess he's going on this monster hunt all by himself with hardly any supplies.
Now don't you forget, I want you to meet me at the mouth of Deep Canyon tomorrow at 4.
I guess his plan is to just sleep on the bare ground and eat whatever he finds in this lush landscape. I mean, just look at this guy. He just stepped off the helicopter and he's already melting. I don't think he's gonna last 15 minutes. Meanwhile, down by the pool, Tom has brought out his amplifiers so that he can totally perform this song, complete with invisible backup singers.
I love you, Vicky. You know I do.
Of course, Roxy doesn't really care. After all, he's singing about a girl named Vicky. Plus, she's got to go taste some of that slide water. Yum. Now, throughout this movie, there is some hilarious ADR going on, but just check this out.
There's another girl who thinks you're the giant.
Hello, Roxanne. Hello, Agnes.
Have you seen any giants today, Roxy?
Not today, Mr. Buggy.
First of all, those people making fun of Roxy like this is high school or something. They don't know what happened. They weren't there. Roxy totally met a giant. They wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school. And secondly, I'm amazed that the actors were able to do these scenes while being completely blinded by these reflectors they had going on. Apparently, the helicopter blew a gasket or something, so the pilot can't go pick up Robert. So this is Tom's big chance to take the Dune Buggy out there and save him. You know, be a big man. But not before screwing around in the sand first. And the funny thing is, this actually kind of sounds like something from Mario Kart. Seriously, it's like they just picked up the triple mushroom. So because they dicked around so much, they're late to the canyon, and Robert isn't there, so they set up camp for the night. At least this is supposed to be night.
It's 9 o'clock.
So they get in a fight, and how does Tom smooth over this situation with Roxy, his girlfriend? By singing a song about a girl named Valerie.
If I had 1,000 paintings.
Alright, dude, you gotta stop. Seriously. The singing, the guitar, the teeth whistling. And where are these backup singers coming from anyways? It's too much. Please, just put it away. Oh, and also, you might want to move because I dug the dump hole about 5 feet away from where you are right now. And I'm telling you right now, I'm using it at some point tonight. You feel it brewing already. The next day, they go out searching for Robert, and wow, looks like a lot of ground to cover, guys. I'm glad that footprint you found the other day really narrowed down the location of where to search. They stop at one point, and Tom insists that Roxy stay in the car while he goes up the hill, even though Roxy isn't too thrilled about it. So here he goes, and oh my god, look, a rattlesnake! Is this why Robert said to watch out for snakes? Is something going to happen here? No, nothing. Of course, Eegah shows up, and Roxy passes out, so he kidnaps her and takes her to his cave of fabric. Again, Eegah's complexion is just impeccable. He looks like he just had a shower 5 minutes ago. He looks cleaner than anyone else in this movie somehow. Roxy tries to tell Eegah that she's hungry, and I have no idea why. I mean, What kind of food are you expecting him to provide? Do you really want to take a chance at eating something a caveman gave you? Do you see anything that looks appetizing in this cave? There's a bunch of sticks and some mummified bodies. I think I'll go hungry, thank you very much.
What are those?
Those are his relatives.
They're dead.
That's quite the astute observation there, Roxy. Also, how do you know that they're his family, Robert? He speaks in grunts. You can't understand anything he's saying. These could just as easily be other people that he kidnapped and brought into his cave. That would be my first assumption. My next assumption would be that he ate them and I'm next on the menu. So Eegah gives Roxy a bone, which he doesn't look very impressed with. And again, what were you expecting? Steak and potatoes? Ribs? This isn't Chili's, it's a cave, and it's barely passing as that. Then he brings her some kind of putrid-looking liquid.
I guess it can't hurt me.
Yeah, no, it totally can. I don't think you really understand the situation you're in. Do you know where you are? This isn't exactly a sanitary environment, in case that wasn't already obvious, due to the corpses. Robert somehow has all the answers to everything, like he's suddenly become a caveman expert over the past 24 hours. He tells Roxy that the sulfur in the walls is what kept the cavemen alive all these years, as if that makes any sense. I guess the rest of Eegah's family didn't get enough sulfur. Roxy notices the cave drawings that he's made, and she's like, holy crap, look at this one. This is supposed to be me driving my car. And now you're just being ridiculous, Roxy. Everybody knows that wheels are round, not triangular. Stop trying to make everything about you. So Eegah leaves the cave, but moves a rock in front of the exit so that they can't leave. And Robert is like, I feel like crap. So Roxy is like, I can give you a shave. That might make you feel better. I found your shaving cream in your bag. So this guy decided to come up to this mountain for a few days, barely brought any supplies, but the shaving kit made the cut. Sleeping bag? Forget it. I'll just sleep on the jagged rocks. But I'm gonna be really uncomfortable if I can't get rid of this 5 o'clock shadow. And this is just incredibly ridiculous. You can see on Roxy's face that even she realizes how stupid this is. Of course, Eegah wants a shave now, and I don't know whose idea it was to put this into the movie, but whoever they are, they owe us all an apology, because this makes me want to throw up. Finally, she finishes, but I guess she took so long that Robert's facial hair has already started growing back. Anyways, shit goes down when Eegah tries to have his way with her, and then Roxy and her father try to escape. There's a fight between Tom and Eegah. I guess shooting him with a shotgun doesn't do anything, but throwing a rock at him does. But as they're leaving, Roxy gives this look as if, what, she cares for him now? She's sad to leave him behind? Are you having regrets, Roxy? Wondering what could have been if you chose a life in a cave with a bunch of skeletons and fabric all over the walls? Maybe this just goes to show the effect that really tall guys really do have on women. Eegah goes home and starts bitching to his dead family. Like, what the hell do you expect them to do? It's not their fault that they died because there's not enough sulfur in this cave for everybody. So Eegah takes a piece of her clothing and sniffs it so that he can track her scent, and he goes all the way into town. Meanwhile, the three of them are getting ready to go out to the club, and Tom is really excited about it.
Grrr.
Because that's what you would do after surviving a situation like that. You don't go to the police, you go to the country club so that you can tell everybody about it and rub it all in their stupid faces. Anyways, they go to the club where Tom plays another song which is just, if not more boring than the other two, but Roxy isn't paying attention. No, Roxy is distracted. She can't get Eegah out of her mind. And can you blame her? He was in love with her. He brought her flowers, introduced her to his family, drew a picture of her on the wall, and yeah, he almost ended up killing all three of them, but I mean, come on, nobody's perfect. So now Eegah's on a rampage, breaking down doors, threatening old ladies, throwing people into pools, and even pretending to break windows. You know, when you're watching this movie, by now you're just dying for it to end, but you've reached that point where you want to turn it off, but there's only a few minutes left, so you might as well stick around for the ending to just confirm how awful the whole movie was. For some reason, there's a fight between Tom and another guy here. It's pretty pointless, which means it fits right in with this movie.
I'm gonna get you.
Knock it off! She's my girl!
I'm gonna smash.
This is where Eegah climbs the fence and everybody attacks him, but then the sheriff's department shows up and they pump him full of lead. This is actually the most exciting part of the movie because you know it's the ending. Roxy is sitting there like, no, he doesn't understand, don't shoot him. And I don't know if it was because I was so annoyed with the movie by this point, but I was just sitting there like, yes, please shoot him with every bullet you have. Make sure he's dead. Do whatever you gotta do. I know that sounds cold, but isn't that what's best for everybody in this situation? Especially the audience. Roxy is super upset, and again, I really don't know what she was expecting. I mean, what? Were you gonna try and integrate this guy into modern society? So, in the end, Eegah died of a broken heart. Literally, I imagine one of those bullets must have just tore right through it. And if it wasn't that, then he definitely drowned in that pool, so... yeah. Kinda sucks for him, but that's life. What are you gonna do? It's truly amazing how stuff happens in this movie, but at the same time, it feels like nothing happens in this movie. I know that sounds weird, but that's really the only way I can describe it. The whole time you're waiting for something interesting to happen, and it just never happens. Now, this movie was shot in just 2 weeks, and it cost $15,000. Arch Hall Sr. had to sell his car and almost went bankrupt making this movie, but in the end, I guess it was worth it because apparently the movie made over $1 million. This movie was filmed in Bronson Canyon and it got pretty hot during filming. The temperature would go over 115 degrees, which would explain why Arch Hall Sr. looks like he's melting away before our very eyes. Bronson Canyon is also where most of the movie Robot Monster was shot, a movie that may or may not make an appearance on this show sometime soon. Some of you may have noticed that the guy who gets thrown into the pool looks kind of familiar. That's because that was Ray Dennis Steckler, who was also a camera assistant on this movie, and he would go on to make several movies, including the classic The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies, which I have also covered on this show. If you watch the movie, you'll also notice that most of it is dubbed over, and that's because after they filmed it, they found out that most of the sound had not been recorded, which really sucks. I have been in that situation before. This movie is in the public domain, so if you'd like to check it out, you can watch it right here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to upload it to the Full Movies playlist. I want to thank all of my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and my YouTube channel members. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, but that's pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you all next time. Some people don't know this, but the alternate title for this movie was Gaslighting Roxy. I guess we'll never know if Robert ended up writing the book, but he should have. I mean, there was more than enough material there, you'd think.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave.
Why?
I can't stop laughing. You have to chew it up.
Okay, alright, okay.